In this country, billions and billions of dollars, even around the world, are spent on weight loss stuff every year, which is ineffective. Every year there's a new company, a new product, a new approach. I mean, look at Oprah, look at Kirstie Allen. They lose weight, they gain weight, they lose weight, they gain weight. There's something that's fundamentally wrong here. And the great irony of this situation is livestock farmers, livestock producers in this country have known the secret to weight loss for 70 years. And let me line it up for you because it's so simple that your head's going to spin off of your shoulders and you're going to fall out of your chair. So here it is. If I'm a cattle owner and I have 500 head of cattle and it's time to sell them at market, I need to fatten them up. How am I going to do that? Well, it's quite simple. During their life, I've given them a nutritional pellet that I add to their hay and to their feed. And that nutritional pellet contains all of the essential nutrients that that animal's body needs in order to grow and be strong and be healthy, and to provide offspring that don't have birth defects and offspring that are healthy, and reduce the veterinarian bills to almost nothing in order to increase and maximize my profit. It's really quite simple. So a livestock farmer gives the cow a nutritional pellet its entire life to keep it nice and healthy. And then 1 month or so before it's time to sell the cow to market, they remove the nutritional pellet from the feed. Now what happens? When you remove the nutritional pellet from the feed, the cow becomes minerally deficient. Because there aren't enough minerals in the hay. There aren't any minerals in the hay. They were in the nutritional pellet. Now you remove those. So now the cow develops a mineral deficiency. When a cow develops, or any animal develops a mineral deficiency, they exhibit a curious behavior that's called pica, or cribbing. And that's when they start to eat everything in sight. You've seen dogs eat grass. You've seen dogs or cats eat dirt. Horses will chew on the wood of their stall. Interesting. Cows will do the same thing. They'll eat anything in sight. Because their body knows that they need something, but their mind does not know what it is, so they eat everything in sight. Now, a normal, healthy, nutrified cow will only eat so much hay. You could have a mountain of hay in front of a normal, healthy, nutrified cow, and they would only eat so much, they'd get full, and they would stop. All right? But when you withdraw the minerals from the cow's diet, they develop a craving that's insatiable. They know they need something, but their mind doesn't know what it is, so they consume more calories, more calories, more calories in the futile attempt to gain whatever it is that they're missing, right? So a cow starts to eat 50%, 60%, 70% more hay than it normally does and puts on fat like nobody's business. Now, an interesting thing happens. When this situation persists for a number of days, and I forget the actual number of days, I think it might be 10 or 11, a switch in the central nervous system gets flipped. And the cow, or the human, or the animal, doesn't matter what species this is, folks, by the way. Okay?
I think I know where you're going.
And this is what we're getting at, right? A switch in the central nervous system gets flipped, and the animal thinks that it's living in a time of famine because it's been consistently undernutrified. There's been no minerals in the tank, no minerals in the tank, no minerals in the tank. Well, what the heck is going on, right?
Wow, yeah.
So the cow, or the animal's body, then starts to turn everything that they eat into fat because they believe that they're living in a time of famine, and they're trying to store as much energy as possible because who knows what tomorrow is going to bring in order to guard against the future. And that's exactly what happens with humans. Obesity is a deficiency disease. It is not a disease of excess. You do not eat more calories than you need to because you weren't loved by your father, or your parents got divorced, or you grew up in a poor neighborhood, or you just got fired from your job. Certainly all of those things can be factors, but we are driven to consume more calories than the body needs because we are suffering from an undiagnosed mineral deficiency, period. We're developing pica, or cribbing. Our body is craving food in the vain attempt, the futile attempt, to fulfill the mineral need, which will never happen from eating food. Because if the soil doesn't have the minerals in it that we need, the tomato doesn't have the minerals that we need, and we eat the tomato and we develop a deficiency disease, period. So, this is an easy fix. And then, right, after this has happened for a long enough period of time, everything that you eat, your body turns into fat. I mean, you can just look at, a piece of chicken and get fat, right? And this is why it's very hard for people to lose weight, even if they're exercising, right? They'll exercise, which makes them sweat more, which makes them lose more minerals, and so after exercise, they're hungrier than they were before exercise.
They're more depleted.
That's right, because they're more depleted. So around and around we go, and we force ourselves to eat a calorie-restricted diet or whatever, and then 3 months later it comes right back. Because the mineral deficiency that causes the whole thing has never been satisfied. but it's an easy fix. When you take the proper vitamin supplementation that gives the body all 60 minerals that it needs, and there are 60 of them, there are 60 essential minerals that the human body needs to intake every day. When you give the body those 60 minerals, guess what happens? Within about 3 days, your cravings disappear. You start to eat half as much as you did before. You're satisfied. And then when you've done that for about 6 or 7 days, the switch in your central nervous system gets flipped the other way, and you start burning fat. Now, if in a situation like this, once you've remineralized the body and your stores are back to normal, and you exercise, that's a deal breaker. I mean, that's the game changer. That's the cat's meow. That's the icing on the cake, and that changes everything. And that's when people experience unbelievably rapid weight loss. Their body comes back to a normal, healthy weight, and they're not even trying. You don't have to portion control your food anymore because you're just not hungry. You know when to stop eating. And then if you take Risto's advice and my advice about what types of foods to eat, even better. And ironically, you know, it's crazy when you think of it, but the livestock farmers know more about weight loss and weight control than any doctor in the United States. And that's a tragedy of biblical proportions, because obesity is rapidly rocketing to the #1 disease problem in the United States, and it's a big problem. You see 10-year-old kids, you see 8-year-old kids, and they weigh 100 pounds, and your heart wants to break. And it's not because their parents don't know any better, because their parents' doctors aren't telling them this. Their parents' doctors aren't telling them this because their parent doctors aren't trained in clinical nutrition, period. They don't know. We know, now you know, now it's time to do something about it. Remineralize, flip that switch, burn fat without even trying.